Okay, wedding day regrets. I got married about a month ago. I watched these videos religiously leading up to our day, and I think that if I hadn't, this list would be like 10 times longer. So if you are about to get married, hopefully this helps you out.
Let me just state for the record that I don't recommend watching any form of video religiously other than mine, depending on your emotional and mental constitution. That varies from day to day.
First regret, my biggest regret, worrying about the weather. There's absolutely nothing you can do to change the weather. I was letting it consume me for like 14 days out from the day, and I was checking the weather app, and it was just ridiculous. I even had like a rain plan. The venue had an indoor option. Like I was just letting it consume me, and it was such a waste of time. It was affecting my mood and the mood of people around me, and I just wish I could go back and just not let it bother me. So if you are worried about the weather and you don't have a rain plan, definitely figure that out, because the anxiety is so real leading up to the day, and it's just not worth it.
In all my years of wedding planning, I literally have only had one instance where we were like, is it gonna rain? Is it not gonna rain? Is it gonna rain? Is it not gonna rain? And we were not in a position to immediately fix it, because it was literally like a patio terrace style ceremony and reception, and the indoor portion of the venue, it's like a restaurant. The indoor portion of the venue was like nominal at best. It was standing room only for 2/3 of the guests. So there would be no way for us to move it inside. When I tell you that most of the time there is a very logical, very easy solution if you are concerned about rain on the horizon. By the way, my name is Jamie Wolfer. I'm your online wedding planner. I've been planning weddings since 2015, and I've been doing online content since 2018, so I would like to think that I may or may not know what I'm talking about. As we all know, wedding planning can, and for some, will be very stressful. We don't need to invent new reasons to be stressed. So when she first started off, I was like, this makes sense. This makes sense. Like, we totally get it when someone, especially when they're panicking about the weather, like, it gets really difficult, but typically there are logical steps that you can take. You can put a deposit down on a tent, which is not cheap, and it's typically non-refundable, and it's usually going to be about 50% of the overall tent rental. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it dismissively like, it's not going to cost you anything. Just throw down $2,500 that you'll never see again. It is still a stressful decision to make, but there is a logical step that we can take. When we start hyperfixating on the weather, and we already have a rain plan though, or the venue has an indoor space and it's just not what we want, that's where I'm going to encourage you to do your best to take a step back from wedding planning, because this tells me that we're too into it. We're too into the weeds. Also, this tells me that maybe this bride didn't have someone in her life to be like, hey, by the way, like, take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. You already have a solution. Spending time thinking about this is not gonna change it at all whatsoever. Which is why I recommend, if you're in this position, if you're in this spiral and you're freaking out and you're like, I can't breathe, come join me in the master plan. Not only do I teach you how to plan your wedding, but I'm there with live monthly phone calls to help walk you through it. So if this is you, if she is you, you are her, she is you, you are the same. At least you have a wedding planner to go to and say, hey, I'm stressed out about this. What do you recommend? Stepping away for a minute. Okay? That was the best plug I've ever done for the master plan. You can't tell me otherwise.
Okay, the second thing is veils. I regret my veil. It sounds so bad. It was so beautiful, but I just wish that I kind of gave it more thought. There are so many beautiful veils out there, and I just kind of chose the easy route. So I kind of, looking back, I probably would have done like a cascading one or like a mantilla veil. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But there's just so many beautiful ones, and I think I could have found one that just kind of elevated the look a bit more.
Oh, by the way, also in this video, we're going to talk about whether these regrets are logical, they're stoppable, or you should be losing sleep at night over this. I guess the logic is in her hands. You know, if she feels like it's a logical regret to have, that's fine. If you don't want this to happen to you, try on more veils. But also for me, this reads a little bit more as hyperfixating than it does like an actual big deep-seated regret. So if nothing else, then maybe you just try on a couple of veils if you want to have a veil. And therein lies the entirety of my professional response.
My third regret is not hiring a content creator. I saw this regret everywhere, and I was like, I don't need one. And it really is a personal preference. My bridesmaids got a lot of amazing iPhone footage, and I was able to like repurpose a lot of that to make, you know, little TikToks and like montages. But for like instances like the ceremony and things that they couldn't record, I just wish I had more content from. Of course, I got the best video and like high quality photos from my videographer and photographer, but just for things that like I wanted to kind of use and recreate stuff with, I wish I had more of.
I've asked this before. I had to have asked this before. How do we feel about wedding content creators? Because like I absolutely want to interview one on one or both of my podcasts that we have for wedding planning, because like, by the way, I have 2 podcasts. Okay. I've got one that's vendor focused, like that talks through like business basic stuff. So I would love to interview a content creator over there to talk about like how this business is put together and what that looks like. But I would also like to talk to a content creator for my couples focused one, which by the way, you should totally check out. It's called Engage with Jamie Wolford, because we love a good pun. But like, what are our thoughts? What are our feelings? Because I feel like we've opened the floodgate for content creation, and I don't know why I did it finger quotes on that. Because it is an actual thing. And so for most people, this is very divisive. They're either like, absolutely I want it, or absolutely not. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And usually they are still active on social media and commenting that. So I think for the right kind of couple, hiring a content creator makes a ton of sense. I think for the average couple, maybe not so much. I don't know. But I also really, like if I redid it, if I had a vow renewal or something like that, I would hire a team for content. So like, this is not me trying to be a hypocrite. I just don't think most people are as extra as some of us are. Okay? Moving on.
Okay, going along with like the photo theme, I wish that I did one of those like Dropbox QR code situations where people could upload any videos or pictures that they took. I don't love the look of the QR code, and I think that's like why I didn't do it, but I do wish that I made it more like organized to have people like send pictures and videos, mainly because I'm such a person that like I want any picture or video that you took, like no matter how long or how short it is or how bad the picture is, like I want it all. So personal preference again, but yeah.
Okay. No, we need to find it. Honestly, people think I'm exaggerating when I bring this up, but listen to this.
These were something that I thought was going to be the biggest hit that actually only 2 people used. So here we go. So there's a website called Never Miss Moments, and they have these QR codes that you can buy from them, and people can scan them and upload the pictures that they took at the wedding. Well, so I have all of these frames, and literally 4 pictures got uploaded to it. Not believe, only 2 people. So one person uploaded 3 pictures and one person uploaded 1 picture. I thought it was so cute. Like maybe it's just like per crowd, like some crowds like them and some crowds don't. Well, we had them at my welcome party, my rehearsal dinner, and my wedding, and only 4 pictures got uploaded. So that was a waste of money and time and energy, but
some of you girlies are going to be like, I'm still using my QR codes. Go for it. I hope that you are the Cinderella story of this tale. The amount of people that do not use those QR code things, though, they don't. And this is why every time there's a new app for photo collection that pops up, or every time there's just this idea of like crowdsourcing photos, even hashtags died at a certain point, people. If you're still hanging on to them, I get it. Like conceptually, I understand the idea of a QR code, the idea of using hashtag. We're trying to crowdsource photos, and this is an extremely common thing that a lot of people experience, is that they want photos of their wedding day immediately following their wedding day. So if you don't know how this works, if you hire a photo and video team, or just photo or just video, which I don't know of anyone that hires just video, but that's not judgment, it's just not typical. It will take them a while to go through the photos, to cull, to edit together a wedding video, etc. So you will be waiting weeks, if not months, a very extended amount of time for your photography and videography teams to provide you any sort of finished results, finished products. So you leave your wedding day and you're like, I just want to know what the back of my dress looked like. I just want to know, did people have fun? I want to know what the photos were like. What did they look like? I didn't see it. I didn't get to talk to everybody. What were they wearing? What did my event look like? Because you don't get to see the entirety of your event all together until afterwards. So there is this feeling of like, I must have missed something, or what was it like through their eyes, or I just want to experience and relive the day all over again. This is where some people, when they say they want an unplugged event, not ceremony, but unplugged event entirely, this is where we see that regret happening. I can still understand wanting an unplugged ceremony because you don't want photos in the way of your photographer during those ceremony moments, but a QR code or a hashtag or having a link available, those sorts of things. I hate to break it to you, they really are drastically underutilized. So in a situation like this, when you want to see content after your wedding day, and I say content just like photos and videos, okay? Not necessarily to use for content. If you want to see that, assign that to some wedding party members, okay? Tell your bridesmaids, be like, hey, do me a favor, can you grab some photos and videos of us getting ready like this bride did? Or hey, this day is gonna fly by. Can you just like go record tidbits of whatever and like send me the videos the next day? Assign that as a task to a couple specific people, and then they will be the ones to send those to you the next day or 2 days after or whatever, so you can relive those moments. But specifically assign this. Don't just get a QR code or use a hashtag if you're stuck in 2016 and just cross your fingers and hope for the best. Because I too also hate the look of a QR code. I hate it. I'm waiting for an aesthetic version to come out, but the QR code will not save you here. But if you want any sort of photos, videos, etc. from your wedding day, tell people. Don't just put a QR code somewhere. Tell people. And in fact, take it a step further, do a scavenger hunt. Like encourage them to go hunting around for these photos. And when they find them, ask them to share them. That is going to be a huge motivational factor between like whether or not you get those photos back via a QR code or via a website or via a hashtag, again, if we're traveling back in time.
My final regret would be not doing more floral arrangements, and I'm laughing because like later down the line I probably won't regret this because we paid for the majority of our wedding and flowers are so expensive, but I just had such a beautiful Pinterest board. I gave it so much thought with like what I wanted, and then we just kind of decided it's not worth it. And now I'm looking back, like, I think it was. But yeah, I just think flowers and all of those arrangements are just like such a beautiful reflection of like, you know, the day and the vibe and, you know, the location. And like, I just had a lot of unique ideas and I just didn't do it. So obviously, again, personal preference. But yeah.
Okay, that's fascinating. I don't know if I've ever heard someone be like, you know what, I regret not spending more on florals. And if you're a florist watching this video, you must be new if that statement coming out of my mouth made you a little bit angsty, okay? I love florals. I love real florals. I'm not a big faux floral girly. I understand some people think they can be more economical, or they feel like they can be more eco-friendly. I did a whole video kind of like debunking that a little bit though. But I love real florals, okay? Love them. Love them so much. But I've never heard someone be like, I should have spent more on them. So I'll just say that's a first. Here's how we can avoid having this happen for your wedding day. In the master plan, I have a whole section teaching you how to style your wedding using Pinterest. Because I do think that a lot of people go into this and they're like, I've never designed an event in my life. Especially if you don't have a wedding planner, like telling you how to do this or walking you through it. That's literally why I created the master plan. Then you just kind of throw mud at a wall and see what sticks, or you start pinning a bunch of stuff, not knowing what it's going to cost you, etc. And so you end up kind of getting stuck in the quagmire that is Pinterest, which we love Pinterest. Pinterest is incredible. No other app, no other website compares to Pinterest when it comes to sourcing and saving wedding ideas, wedding visuals specifically. So if you find yourself struggling through this, you don't have a planner, and you don't really know how to style your wedding, please come join me. It's a monthly subscription. You can literally join for a month, just do that module, and then just leave. Like, I want you to stay. Like, come hang out with me. I want to help you plan your entire wedding. So when I have a situation like this, it's giving you David. Any hoodles, on to the next video.
I'm 2 weeks post-wedding. Let's chat. Likes, dislikes, do's, don'ts, what I recommend, what I don't, etc. And I bet a lot of these you actually haven't heard before.
Bet? Would you happen to say that they are controversial?
The first one would be shaving my arms. I'm really glad I did this. I have like lighter hair, so I don't normally shave my arms. But I noticed that in our engagement photos, even though the hair is light, the hair itself like really catches the light in photos. And so I decided to shave it for the wedding so that I wouldn't do that in our wedding photos. And I'm really glad I did. Not only for that, but just like, I feel like people were like, oh, you look so tan, your skin is glowing, you're so smooth. Like, it just felt really, it just made me feel nice and put together.
Bet. Yeah, I haven't heard. I'm not making fun of her for doing that. She was 100% correct when she said, I bet it's something you haven't heard of. That's a first. And I don't have a comment. You could shave your arms if you want to. I just remember when it was all the rage in junior high when like people started shaving their arms. And then you would accidentally like brush up against somebody in like whatever class or in the hallways and you'd be like, ow, ow, ow. That's the only frame of reference that I have. Did I think that it would make a wedding regrets video? Also not.
One thing I wish we did was set aside specific time to see our grandparents. I felt like we barely saw them the whole day, and that like makes me sad post-wedding. Especially like we saw them after the ceremony to get some pictures and then like little, hugs here and there. Just tough because usually they're old and they don't, they kind of like sit off to the side and they're not on the dance floor, which obviously is totally fine, but it just lessens the time that you see them. And so I wish we like carved out specific time to sit and spend time with them.
Stinking cute. I love this. I think it oozes intentionality. I also think that this also, of course, depends on if you have grandparents present or not, or if you have a good relationship with them, etc. Sometimes it's more of an honorary invitation, and other times it's we have a deep and profound relationship with them. I think that carving out intentional time to see guests on your wedding day is really special. That's why we recommend doing table visits, so you can have intentional time going around with every single person at your wedding. If you were worried about the time frame of that, have a photographer go with you so they can make sure you move from table to table at a decent pacing. But you can also tell your photographer, hey, at my grandparents' table, we're going to spend a little bit extra time. Or if your photographer says, hey, are you ready to move to the next table? You can say, no, we're going to stay here for a little bit longer. So it does provide an additional opportunity for that FaceTime, like literal FaceTime with people, instead of just kind of rushing throughout the entirety of that. And that would typically happen after dinner is served. You've eaten first. Photographer and videographer teams, if you're having one or both or whatever, need to be eating at the same time as you are. So when everyone is finished, when you and your photographer are done, you can then go table to table and then start saying hello to people. That will kind of mitigate some of this. But I do truly think this is extremely sweet.
Another hot take is I'm actually glad I drank the night before at our welcome drinks. Jack and I had really been debating whether we were going to drink or not at our event the night before. And honestly, by the time we got to Friday, like that week leading up to the wedding was so stressful and we had so much to do that I was so ready for a cocktail. I was so ready for a drink. And so I didn't even think twice about it. Like when we got there and I ordered a spritz, I ended up having 2 spritzes and like half a glass of Prosecco over the course of like over 4 hours. So it really wasn't that much, but like then later on in the night, I feel like I had, like when we got home and we were getting ready for bed and stuff, I feel like I had just like a little bit of a Prosecco headache, like a little hangover from the drinks. And that made me tired. Like it made me want to go to bed and it made me want to sleep. And I actually slept like a good few hours. I mean, I didn't get like a normal night's sleep before my wedding, but I feel like I slept a good few hours enough to like feel rested the next day.
I don't know how to, I don't have a response to this one. I think it's because people get really up in arms and like really opinionated about not drinking the night before your wedding. I think the concern with this comes from the idea of like getting heavily inebriated the evening before your wedding. And that is absolutely not something that we want. I've seen this happen once, and it was actually not even in a wedding that I worked. It was the wedding of someone that I know where the groom did, in fact, get quite inebriated and actually fell over and scraped his face 2 nights before at the wedding. So, like, I get it. I get the sentiment behind this, and for this to be like a hot take, we actually did enjoy some alcohol, like... That's it. That's all I got. Y'all go off in the comments, though, because... everyone's got very strong opinions about booze.
Probably another hot take is I really didn't care for a signature scent. Like the week leading up, or not even the week, but like the month leading up to our wedding, I was like, why do I need to do this? Like, shouldn't I smell like myself? Like, I'm going to get to the altar and he's going to be like, who's this bitch that doesn't smell like my wife? And I ended up getting another scent. I loved the scent itself. I just like didn't find the need to actually get a signature scent. Like it didn't change the day for the better or anything. And I actually wore it on our honeymoon, like on one of our more fancy date nights. And I asked Jack, I was like, smell me. And he did. And I was like, does it remind you of anything? And he was like, no. He's like, you smell good, but like, what do you mean? And I was like, this is the scent I wore in our wedding. So like, I don't know. I just didn't need, like it didn't hinder the day. I just didn't need to spend the $150. Like I should have just worn my perfume and smelled like myself.
Sometimes we girlies be spending a little bit too much time on TikTok and trying to come up with these ideas. Like if you already have a fiance who pays attention to your signature scent, like great. If your fiance comments when you switch up the scent, Also great. But very likely, given the amount of nerves and regimented timeline items you need to get through throughout your wedding day and the amount of people you're seeing and the rushing sensation, I highly doubt that the olfactory senses are going to be working on overtime. You know, it's cute. It might mean something to you if you are intentional about it. It might mean something to your fiance if your fiance pays attention to smells. If you want more attention drawn to it, I would recommend saying something beforehand, like, hey, I got a new scent for our wedding day. Do you want to smell it? I just wanted something really special and intentional for this. But if your fiance doesn't typically sniff you, I highly doubt that's going to be on the top list of priorities for your wedding day. So if you want it to be noted, call it to attention.
We spent the night before, sleeping apart. I slept with my mom, and he slept at his parents' house. And honestly, I kind of wish we didn't. We wanted to stick to tradition, and it just didn't make sense logistically because I had to get up at 6 a.m. for hair and makeup, and he literally slept until 9 in our wedding day. Jealous, but it's just how it is. So it didn't really make sense, but when I was going to sleep, I was definitely this is so stupid. I want to be sleeping with Jack. And not even just that we sleep better together. It's just that you're having, it's the night before your wedding. You're having so many emotions and so many thoughts, and the one person you want to be with and talk about them with is the person that you're getting married to. And so I just feel that would have eased my mind a little bit the night before. I don't regret not sleeping together, but if you're on the fence, I don't think it would be a big deal if you did, and it might actually be helpful.
Yeah, I don't really have a comeback to this one either, other than don't subscribe to tradition just for tradition's sake. Although she gave plenty of other reasons why it would not make sense for him and her to be sleeping next to each other, especially when she had to be up at 6 and if he wanted to sleep in. I get it, and you already had the Prosecco headache, so you were going to go night-night anyways. So were you really going to be up discussing this until the wee hours of the morning? Probably not. But this is probably a little bit more one of those I probably wouldn't repeat it the same exact way, but I'm not going to lose sleep over this, pun intended, very much, because we made the decision this way. So I'm just glad she didn't call this one controversial or a hot take. If there is a tradition that you're on the fence about, don't feel like you have to subscribe to it just because it's a wedding tradition. But you know me, we're not stopping there. There's more.
Here's 3 of my biggest regrets on my wedding day. For starters, I did not get my ring professionally cleaned because to me, oh, let me see your ring is part of the engagement process. And I was not expecting so many people when we were going around and saying hi to everyone, being let me see the ring. I'm this old thing, this is old news. It was dirty, full of hairspray. I should have brought it to a jewelry to get it cleaned prior to showing it off to the world.
Okay. I don't even know why I'm laughing at this point, okay? Get your ring cleaned anyways, because it's going to be in a lot of photos. Even if you don't have a bunch of people being let me see it, it's still going to be, if you have any details photos and you want that ring box with the full invitation suite moment, chef's kiss, so cute. Even if you're not physically showing it to people, it will be heavily photographed that day. So if it is so unclean that you're embarrassed to show it in person, my guess is it's not going to be showing its best shiny self in all of your photos. So as a gentle aside, maybe just do it anyways. But the fact that this made the top 3 regrets, I'm hoping that the other 2 are just smooth sailing from here.
Secondly, this is probably a little vain, but I wish I carried around a mirror. At one point, my hair had just gone in size because it had rained, and my hair is just simply not a humidity girlfriend, and my hair looked awful, and all the girls were trying to shove bobby pins in it. I could tell something was wrong, and if I would have just grabbed a mirror, I would have been girls, get away, we're taking it all down, we're taking a brush through it, we got to redo it. Same thing with my makeup. I wish I touched it up, but the whole time I was just I got it professionally done, I'm sure it still looks good, but in reality it didn't. And I do makeup and hair pretty good. I just wish I looked in a mirror at one point in the night and been whoa, bring me my makeup bag and bring me a hairbrush.
Okay, this is valid. This is super, super, super valid. I want you to take a bathroom trip, okay? I want you to return to your getting ready suite if it's on the same location after your ceremony, potentially at the end of cocktail hour before you do your grand entrance, I want you to create a couple pockets of time where you can go to a bathroom and like adjust your person should you need to. Okay. And I'm not talking about like going to the bathroom just to make sure you can go tinkle. I'm talking about like take a little trip into whatever space that has a mirror. I don't think you need to carry one around with you, but I do think that's something that you want to be cognizant of. If you don't have a professional on your wedding day to come up and say like, hey, you might want to go adjust this. Your girlies are doing the best that they can. They don't want to interfere with your wedding day and pull you away from those activities. So they're kind of just like, we'll just pin it. We'll just keep going. It'll be fine. This is something that is, it's not going to haunt everybody. It's probably not going to haunt even a quarter of the people watching this video. But if you are intentional about making sure that you can check in, just double check on your makeup. A couple things I want you to focus on a little bit more specifically. If you have false eyelashes on, a lot of times the glue for lashes is water soluble. So if you start crying, they'll start flapping in the wind. I want you to double check your under eye, and I want you to double check your lips. So as you're eating, as you're drinking, etc., as you're kissing your sweet fiance throughout the day, that stuff's going to go bye-bye. Okay. So like those are going to be the kind of things that we're going to want to be intentional about. Oftentimes I do try to go up to my couples after dinner to be like, do you need a lip touch up real quick before you go do table visits, right? You like, I'm weaving all this together. This is why you need a wedding planner, folks. And if you can't afford one in person, then come join me in the master plan because I'm full of stuff like this. Okay. Before you do your table visits and get photos with every single person that's at your table, you maybe just go do a quick checky poo on the whole cranial zone instead of just letting your favorite girlies stab you with bobby pins repeatedly. If you're not carving out time for this intentionally, that's also super normal. That's totally okay. Have a wedding party member, a bridesmaid who is good with this stuff and aware of this stuff. Be the one person that you talk to about this. Be the one person that you bring this up to be like, hey, can you be in charge of my little makeup kit in case I need little touch-ups? And also if I have like flyaways for my hair or whatever, like could you just let me know and just like be on the lookout for me? Maybe bring me a mirror after dinner so I can check my teeth to make sure there's no cracked pepper in there or anything. Assigning a small detail like that to a person outside of yourself is really helpful to kind of circumvent something like this happening. Again, I don't think this is going to bug like a large percentage of you. You should be okay, but I just want to call attention to this specifically in case you're like, I didn't know I had lipstick on my teeth for like half of my photos because maybe your photographer didn't notice or whatever. Although they should probably edit that. Anyways, that was a really bad example. Moving on.
And finally, I wish I documented the rehearsal dinner / welcome party in a more formal, professional way. I didn't hire anyone to document that. And when I look back at the wedding weekend, I just feel like I have so many great memories captured and then like just like nothing from the night before. I don't even think I needed like a full level of professional photographer like I had for the wedding or anything like that. Like I just think if I had like some amateur that was like just trying to start out, just like wanted a couple $100 to come take the photos, that would have been good enough. Or even like someone to take it on an iPhone. I don't think I needed like full on professional photos, but when I look back at the weekend, I have everything captured so wonderfully from the wedding day and just like absolutely nothing from the welcome party. And that was such a big part of the weekend and like there's just no memories from it.
This is specific to this person. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it for most of you. I think that again, if photos and videos are important, specifically ask someone to help you out with that. So notice that like I'm like trying to pawn a lot of this off on people that'll be close to you throughout your wedding day, and by pawn this off, you know what I'm trying to say. Enlist the help of family members and friends that are already gifted in this area. So if someone you know and love is already good with hair and makeup, have them be on the lookout for you. Be like, hey, can you do me a favor? If anything goes wackadoo with the do and becomes a don't, I regret nothing. Will you just do me a favor and just give me a little shoulder tap and step on in and be like, hey, we're gonna go visit the ladies' room real quick. Okay, thank you. Or if you are big on photos and you really want these moments captured and you want to be able to see these afterwards, like, hey, can you guys be sure to take a bunch of photos of the welcome party? Because then it gives you one less vendor to book, one less administrative detail to keep track of, and then hopefully you can just crowdsource a lot of this. And again, they're probably not going to use a QR code or a hashtag necessarily, but if you assign it to a few people, those could be people that you follow up with afterwards. Be like, hey, did you happen to capture some of those? And also give grace, okay? Give grace. Because if they only got a few, remember, they're not paid attendants. They're your friends. Anyways, anyhoodles, that's all we have for today's video, guys. We love ourselves a rousing round of wedding day regrets. A lot of these are hyper-specific and quite personal, but here are the key takeaways I want you to leave this video with. Do the best that you can to prepare in an organized and orderly fashion ahead of time. Assign tasks to family members and or friends that already have a proclivity for this particular gift or have an eye for this particular thing, and then ideally have low expectations on what that delivery looks like. please bear in mind that a wedding day and a wedding weekend is also very exciting and very stressful for those that are around you and that are supporting you throughout this. If there is a tangible and logical solution to it, do your best to not hyperfixate on it. And if you find yourself doing that, you do need to step away from wedding planning. Go take a walk, go touch grass. And I do not mean that in a sarcastic way. It's called grounding. It's been around for a very long time. Realistically, folks, no matter what I tell you in this specific video, there will probably be things that you regret on your wedding day. They may be really heartfelt, like I wish I spent more time with my grandparents. Or they may be a small, insignificant detail, like I wish I spent more time going through veils because I probably would have selected a different one. I say insignificant because that's insignificant to me, but clearly to that bride, it was important enough to include in that video. Your wedding day is not going to go perfectly, no matter what you do. It all depends on where your heart and your spirit is for your wedding day. So if you're going into this with intention, and you're going into this with excitement to marry your favorite person, spend the entire day surrounded by all of your favorite humans in an experience that you will very likely never have in your life ever again. All of your loved ones under one roof or under one sky at the same exact time. Come join the master plan, get all your details in order ahead of time, make sure you've got a killer timeline ready to go, and then when it comes to your wedding day, be present and be intentional. So that's what we have for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're one of our friends that's already married and just hanging out here on the channel, because I know you're here. I see you. I know you're here every single week and you're like, listen, I got married X amount of months ago and I'm still watching. First of all, I'm honored. Second of all, what is a wedding day regret you might have had immediately following your wedding or shortly following your wedding? And does it still bother you to this day? I want to hear that. That's the kind of commentary that I want. Because since you're still here hanging out watching these videos, might as well put all of that hard work and effort to use, huh? Drop them in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, like the video if you like the video and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride. And until next week, bye guys.